When I think about defining the humanities, the person who comes to mind is Wilhelm Dilthey, who in the 19th century saw a trend in the humanities of adopting the quantitative methods of the natural sciences. Dilthey thought that while the natural sciences aim to explain how natural phenomena work, the human sciences aim to understand the meaning of human action. Today, we see a trend towards a more integrative, interdisciplinary methodological model. My question is twofold. On the one hand, how do you understand interdisciplinary research and what are some of its benefits? And on the other hand, and this is Dilthey's question, what do you think remains distinctive about the humanities?
Thank you, a really thought-provoking question. And I think this question lends itself to being engaged, thinking specifically about the Marquette context. One of the things that makes our College of Arts and Sciences at Marquette great is that we do integration very well. So your question about the importance of integration and research is crucial. We know that the grand challenges, big problems, challenges we face as a culture, as a globe, require multifaceted responses. So working together across disciplines, in diverse groups, thinking about the natural world as well as the human world. So I think there are so many examples, and this might be another interview for another day, and across the College of Arts and Sciences of the power of integration. If you think about something like the way the humanities inform healthcare, or if you think about the education preparedness program, which seeks to educate currently and formerly incarcerated students that some of our colleagues are engaged with. If you think about the indigeneity lab, there are so many examples of cross-cutting crucial research. Recently, there were several presentations at the Summit on Poverty in downtown Milwaukee. So many wonderful examples of the humanities playing a central role in these kinds of questions. And I'll add that a great resource on integration is a couple of reports by the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, really talking about how integration must be at the center when we think about engaging big issues of how we're going to live a flourishing life, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so that question of a flourishing life really gets to the second part of your question, is what is distinctive about the humanities? The humanities, I think, are the disciplines that ask different kinds of questions. We could even be so bold as to call them bigger questions, but they're bigger questions in part because they ask, who are we and how ought we to live with one another, with our planet, with this broader kind of global context. And they're the kinds of questions in the humanities, we ask these questions that when you respond to them, something resonates in your being. And at the same time, I think you realize that we never really fully answer these questions. These are perennial questions that can even become lifelong issues that we want to engage with. And I guess the final thing I'd say on this topic is I've been really struck reading the journals Nature and Science by how many science writers are really asking humanities type questions. And I've often thought it would be great to have a national or international journal along the lines of Nature or Science for the humanities. But barring that, I think more of us in the humanities need to be engaging with the scientific audience and making sure our voices are there when these questions really about human meaning are asked.